Occam's Razor right down the outside, it's flying. Occam's Razor, Silk Pins, Choice Pro and Warhorse. Occam's Razor, the Aussie does it. Occam's Razor and Craig Williams has done it ahead of Silk Pins, third over Warhorse and then Choice Pro. And he has taken out the Karaka Million in devastating fashion.
Aussie Raider Occam's Razor winning the Karaka Million 3 years ago. And of course that race is less than 2 weeks away. And of course that'll be followed by the sales. So we thought it a great time to have a chat to New Zealand Bloodstock's co-managing director Andrew Seabrook, who's joined us in the studio. Good evening.
Good evening, Daryl. Good to be here.
We just saw Occam's Razor there, obviously, who was sold to Australia, came back and won the million. I guess from an international marketing perspective, that's just a perfect result.
It's fantastic, and this year Liam Birchley, who won the race about 5 years ago, is coming back with a colt by showcasing. So no, it's great. And I was over in Australia recently, and I was quite surprised about the number of Australians talking about buying a horse just for the Karaka Million. Of course, it's now worth 950,000 Australian, so it's a nice rich prize for them.
It has become a real part of the sale, hasn't it? I think we're into our 8th year for the Karaka Million, but there's so many other aspects to the sale, Andy, you know, New Zealand breeding stayers, and we saw Preferment come out and win the VRC Derby this year. That's the best advertising you can get.
Absolutely. Winning the Group 1 races in Australia over those distances is fantastic, winning the classic races. And Chris Waller was awesome that day after winning the Derby with Preferment. He came out on stage in front of 80,000 people and millions of viewers, obviously, and said, if you want to buy a classic horse, you go to New Zealand. If you want to buy an Oaks horse or a Derby horse, you've got to get to New Zealand. So that was a fantastic comment that Chris made that day.
You alluded to that it's a big party kind of atmosphere now, isn't it? With the Millions night rolls into the sales, everyone's here, Hong Kong, Australia, everyone gets there. It's a really great atmosphere, there's a really good feel about it, everyone gets excited about it, and it's just a really big event now.
Absolutely, and it's great having it before the sale actually starts. Remember, it used to be down at Turapa, it was at the end of the week, and Magic Millions isn't even at the beginning. It's sort of 3/4 of the way through this sale, so no, it works really well. It gets everyone into a great frame of mind. It's good to showcase some good, strong racing to the Australians and the Asians. And of course, now it's not just about the Karaka Million. We've got the 3-year-old mile race, the Karaka Mile, which I think Volkstock and Barrel's going to run him, which is incredible for the race. That's going to be, you know, he's a proper horse. And we've got the Stayers race with 100,000 now. So no, it's just a great evening.
Just going back a little bit, how early do the inspections and the categorising of these yearlings take place?
So the entry forms go out in May, Daryl. We get about 1,900 to 2,000 nominations. In August, about a week of us, about 7 of us, lock ourselves in a room for a week and go through all the pedigrees, and we put them into sort of 3 categories, K1, K2 and K3. Our agents then go out on the road sort of during August, September, October. They've got the ability then, after looking at them, to put a horse up from, say, K2 to K1, or they might put a horse down from K1 to K2 after speaking with a vendor. And yeah, that whittles down to about 1,500 horses, and catalogues go out in November, and we go around the world promoting the sale.
Must be hard to predict what the likely outcome is going to be, but you're obviously out in the marketplace. What's the vibe?
The vibe's good, and I've just come back from the Magic Million sale, and it was a really good vibe. Our accommodation bookings are good, are strong, and that's always a good guide or good gauge as to how our sale's going to go. And we're pretty confident that we can do at least as well as last year and hopefully see a bit of an increase.
Australia, a massive market, isn't it, Andrew? We see horses go to Hong Kong. We see a lot of horses bought from Hong Kong stay in New Zealand for their early education, but the Australian market really underpins this sale.
Australia's always been our biggest market, Butch. It really is, and hopefully that'll continue for a long, long time. Australians have become obsessed, as you know, with winning the Melbourne Cup and the Melbourne Cup, and going to Europe and buying all these staying horses. And there's $50 million spent last year from Australians buying staying horses in Europe. So we're trying to get the message across to Australia. Hey, you don't have to go to Europe to buy your staying horses, and you certainly can't go to Europe and buy your classic horse for your 3-year-old races. Obviously can't do that. So we've been pitching that to them, and you know, we got away from our knitting there for a while and imported a lot of speed. And I guess at the time that's what Australians were demanding, the marketplace was demanding. But now that Melbourne Cup's become the obsession of all Australians again, and it's good for us. It's positive for the future of the industry in New Zealand that now our staying horses are going to become more commercial.
It's very difficult Andrew, for a New Zealand trainer like myself to compete with the Australians and the Asian buyers. What sort of numbers do we have year in year out of New Zealand trainers buying horses to race and to stay in New Zealand and race? I mean, obviously there's a few of us that buy to pinhook, but our numbers will be pretty low.
Yeah, but New Zealand actually increased their spend last year. The Australians decreased, the New Zealand spend increased a little bit. I think definitely the Karaka Million has helped, and these syndicators that have come along board now is really helping the game. Not just your David Ellis's, but your Albert Bosmas now and various people. And Australians, every corner you go around in Australia, there's a syndicator, and we've been probably a bit slow in New Zealand to follow on. But now there's more and more syndicators, and I was talking to another one last week that's wanting to get on board. So I think that's a big help. I mean, you just can't race horses these days with one owner, and that. I think that's going to be a help, Paul.
You guys are doing something for that as well. Straight after the sale, there's a special open day where these syndicators get an opportunity to talk to people, isn't it?
Exactly. We're having a function at Karaka on the Wednesday after the sales for sort of 3 or 4 hours, and hopefully it's a nice balmy evening. We're going to showcase some of our horses. Yep. The syndicators are going to get behind it, Butch, and it's just a chance to get some of the new people along, and if they want to buy a share in a horse or just experience it, what it's like to get into horse racing, what have you. So hopefully that'll be a successful evening.
It's a good concept. Yeah. Good concept for sure.
Look, we've had a look through the catalogue. There's obviously some interest lots that stand out. We talked about Preferment a moment ago. There's a bay colt by So You Think at a better alternative, the dam who produced Preferment. There'll be some good interest there, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The first crop of the So You Think, actually, it was interesting to see how well the first season sires sold in Australia, and I hope that's going to continue with us with our first season sires. But yes, I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm struggling to read that board there. But you've got a more than ready. No, I'm going to show you the more than ready colt, obviously out of 8 Carats family. There will be highly
just
sought
for viewers,
after.
So you think a better alternatives the next one?
That's a 62-inch plasma screen we've got here about 5 feet away, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. But I see there the Fastnet Rock colt out of a full to high chaparral. He's going to be really well sought after. There's a brother to Sacred Falls. I saw he popped up there too, and so that'll be highly sought after, being a brother to a 4-time Group 1 winner over a mile. But look, it's hard to come up with 5 or 6 lots. It's there's plenty of horses in there, and we've got some good up and coming sires. Look at our 2-year-old sires that we've got. Pure Encanto showcasing, McPhee. We've got horses like Tavistock and Master Craftsman. I think we're in a pretty good spot at the moment. There's some nice stallions coming about, and we need them, obviously.
And then you get a horse like Pins leave an international sprint winner up in Hong Kong. That's massive.
Absolutely. So we've got the proven horses, we've got the up and coming horses, and then we've got the first season sires, the Cape Blancos, the Pourmoires, the Jimmy Choos, the Jacinto from the South Island, Redwood, Bright Horse, Delagar. So there's a bit to talk about at the moment.
Yeah, I've had a few people ask through the week, Andrew, that they're interested in buying horses, they're first-time buyers at sales, and they said, how do I go about it? So could you just give our viewers a sort of, if anyone's interested in purchasing a horse from NZB for the first time, how do they go about it?
Well, I think you probably ring New Zealand Bloodstock. Look, I'm happy for anyone to ask for me, but ring New Zealand Bloodstock or New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing. We can put you onto Bloodstock agents or syndicators, or head you in the right direction. We're very, very keen for people to get in this game, and often they sort of don't know what to do and how to go about it. And that's half the reason why we're doing this thing on the Wednesday night. Yep. I know that's after the sale, but so it's very, very easy. Give us a call at New Zealand Bloodstock or New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing. We're keen to help. Yeah,
I mean, you give good credit, trust me. I'm sweet this year, aren't I?
You're always good.
Sweet.
You're always good.
Ready to run sale. Ready to run sale. That was a big help to Paul. But the ready to run sale is a big part of the market now as well. People will buy at this sale and then trade them on in 7 or 8 months' time.
The ready to run sales is definitely the growing market, and in 10 years' time I can see that K1 and ready to run just getting closer and closer. But a great opportunity for trainers and pinhookers to buy a horse, and to turn it over. And the success of the ready to run sale has instilled so much confidence in our overseas market. It used to be a bit of a throwaway sale where the odds and sods went in the sale, but now there's genuine horses. Genuine horses been going there from as a foal rather than going towards the yearling sale. They've been targeted specifically for the ready to run. So the quality's getting better, and the buyers have got a lot of confidence in the sale.
Good luck with the sale, and thanks for coming in.
Thanks a lot, Darryl.
All right, Andrew Seabrook with us here on Weigh In, and Weigh In will be live from the sales in a couple of weeks' time. We're back with more in a moment.
Coming up next, Butch weighs in on what's hooked his attention for the week that was.
International Animal Health, the Australian company, make a range of quality products which help improve the health, growth and performance of your animals. Our goal, like yours, is the achievement of their full potential. So when you next need an animal health product, look to International Animal Health for a range of products to suit your animal's needs, including high-performance nutrition, probiotics, worming, first aid and grooming. Our business is growing your animals better.
We were just a young couple, and we'd never seen anything so...
Totally awesome! It was like I could see all the way
to those summers. We would just do absolutely nothing. Just find a little place with...
So much to do, and so many kids. And
so many memories, every single time.
Cruising on the Inter-Islander, sailing to the other side.
Life in the fast lane. Coming to the 200-metre mark, and Doremus takes the lead. Nothing like a Dane on the inside, finishing very determinedly. But Doremus was the leader at the 200. Nothing like a Dane is second. Then Coachwood, Quick Ransom and Vintage Crop are starting to fly home. But Doremus is clear in the final stages. He's set for the double Doremus for Lee Friedman and Damien Oliver. Doremus wins the fastest Melbourne Cup, 3 lengths, 4 lengths. Life in the fast lane.
Some sad news coming through yesterday that champion New Zealand bred and owned stayer Doremus had died. He had 11 starts beyond 2,400 metres. He won a Melbourne Cup, a Caulfield Cup. He ran second in a Melbourne Cup, a Caulfield Cup, a Sydney Cup and a Metrop. He ran third in a BMW and a Sandown Cup, and he ran fourth in another Caulfield Cup. Butch, he was a staying marvel, wasn't he?
Marvellous, marvellous racehorse, yeah. He was just a super horse. I remember him winning a race at Trentham. I think it might have been his second race before he was sent across to the Lee Friedman stable. Jim Gibbs brought him down for a restricted type of race. It was only a small field from memory, but you could tell that day that he was a very good horse, and look what he went on to, amazing.
He was a super horse, right? Geez, we've lost a few greats lately, haven't we? Rough Habit and Beandacross and Doremus, all that era. Geez, champion horses, but he's probably more famous for the races he got beaten, isn't he? The Melbourne Cup, the one he won.
Went off,
Greg All, yeah, he went off before Noms.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Butch, we'll stay with you this week's hook.
Yeah, well, in these times where we hear of the need to save industry money all of the time, I just thought that there was something that could have been done a little better on Saturday. Craig Grills had his appeal over a careless riding charge heard at Ellerslie at 10 o'clock on race day morning, which was great. It meant that the RIU were there. They didn't have to go anywhere, especially because they were set up for race day anyway. We had a JCA panel come in to do the appeal. They heard the appeal, gave their decision and then left. And another JCA panel came in to do the race day. Surely the appeal panel could have stayed and they could have done the race day. They could have been there for that day. It wouldn't have hurt, I wouldn't have thought, for the appeals panel off that day to do a race day. Just think it's something that we could do a little better in this time where we need to try and rationalise industry costs.
Yeah, your thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, Butch has got a fair point. I mean, why couldn't they adjudicate on the day? It just seems ridiculous that they come in and then for 20 minutes and then leave again. Yeah, no, I agree with you wholehearted. I mean, like you say, we need to cut costs wherever we can because we're racing for peanuts. So, but if we've got that much money that we can spend it like that, well, put some prize money up or something for us blokes.
You might have a thought on this, and you can contact us via social media, of course, facebook.com/weighinshow, @weighinshow on Twitter, and you can email us as well, weighin@nzracingboard.co.nz. That pretty much wraps up the program. Really looking forward to reviewing the first day of Trentham next week. Thanks, Butch. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, 2 Group 1s, fantastic.
And Twiggy, we'll catch you in 7 days.
We'll be here, mate. Beautiful.
All right. And Mark Mack, we appreciate him making the trip up as well. And thanks to our other 2 guests as well, Ross Neal and also Andrew Seabrook. We'll see you in 7 days. Bye for now.